Hi guys, welcome. Glad you guys are here. Shanna Vollmer with Pixa Creative.
Brian Craig with Branded by Woods.
Jim Benedict, Enpointe, based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Hi. Glad to be here with you guys today. So excited about the conversations. So obviously we're all in the print industry and have been in the print industry for how many years for you?
25 at Enpointe.
5, all right. So I'm about 26, 27.
I'm the young guy, I guess. I've been on 11 years. Our company is 50 years old this year.
Okay, that's awesome. So I got to ask real quickly, how you got started in the print industry?
My wife's grandfather started it. Then her dad and mom took that over. I was looking at getting out of what I was doing, which was, I had a marketing background, but was in healthcare. And I wanted to get out of the red tape of healthcare, and they came calling and wondered if we wanted to come back. So here we are.
So family brought you in.
Family
right?
brought us in.
How about you?
I started in high school. I was always artsy, and I wanted to go to school for commercial art, and the courses were filled. So I had to go for graphic arts. Halfway through the quarter, I was placed with a printing company, so I've pretty much been in the print business since I was 19. Kind of dating myself, but I love it. I wouldn't change a thing.
You know, if I could go back, I would have taken those courses when I was in school because marketing was my thing that I was going to do. Got thrown into that print industry, and I think it's just when you get in it, it's hard to leave. Do you feel the same?
I do. It's something I never really thought I would be in, but I've loved it. I really have, and especially switching over. We were an offset, sheet-fed company. My grandfather was strictly black and white. My father-in-law took it to color, and then we've come in and switched it all to digital. So pretty soon we'll be a completely digital shop.
How many years have you been in digital now?
Let's see. We started with the HP Indigo 7600 about I guess 6 years ago. Then 2 years ago bought a 10,000 right before COVID hit. So we were ready to do the launch. And we had our lunch and learns and everything set up, and COVID hit, and we've thrown it all away. So.
Yeah, unfortunately. And then you have quite a few HP products, correct?
We've got 3 12,000s. We were actually third in the United States for a 10, and then that 10 was upgraded to a 12, and then we had a 7500, had that upgraded to a 78, and then we have an additional 78. And then last year, a year and a half ago, we purchased a T240, which was then upgraded to a T250.
I'm excited to learn more about those. The 12,000s, love those systems. We've helped a lot of printers across the U.S. implement the 12,000 and, how do you launch it, all the capabilities and things like that. So obviously, it sounds like we have a lot of creative background, with our print companies. So let's talk about marketing, like PSP versus MSP. What does that mean? Where you've been. So we'll start with you.
So when I came in 2010, it was right after everybody was pushing go from a PSP to an MSP. And having a marketing background, I was kind of against it because I'm like, just because you're a printer and you print marketing material doesn't make you a marketer. So again, I was kind of against it. But as time went on, we developed a lot of doing a lot more design, a lot more brand management, color management pieces, and developed a team that I felt like we could actually, provide a benefit for someone. So May of last year, we rebranded into Branded by Woods with a focus of managing. We work with small to medium-sized businesses to manage their brand, their color, their just kind of going through everything that could happen in there with the small, whether it's a company that doesn't have a marketing department or one that has a couple people or a family member that has been put into a marketing role.
Build my website.
Yeah.
So question, because you mentioned you were reluctant and you're a marketing guy. So what was the thinking there?
It was more company based. We had, luckily as a company, we were someone that we had long tenures of everybody. We had our first employee ever that was still working for us. So people were there for 25, 30, 40 years.
Like us, they can't get out,
right? They couldn't get out. And they were the wrong people to do it. Great people, great employees. They were family, but I knew I knew we would fail as a company if we tried to go that marketing route right then. So it took some time to get through that, to either let them retire or they decided to go a different way or whatever, and then we were able to bring in the talent. I hate to say it that way, but bring in that type of talent that I knew we needed.
No, I mean, you bring up a good point, because I think that, I mean, we saw a lot of printers across the U.S. make this, hey, if you're going to survive, you need to offer more marketing services. We saw a lot of them try to switch, and they couldn't, because they didn't have, like you said, the talents.
Yep.
Weren't really ready, didn't know what they exactly needed, and it was kind of sad to watch, right. Sadly. But then there was a ton that did a very good job at it and making that transition. So how about you?
A lot of it is educating both sides of the house. So you've got your PSPs and your MSPs. So the marketing side is you have to educate them and dispel that, oh my God, it's it's digital, it's poor quality, it's like cheap color copies. So one is you blow them away on the capabilities of these unbelievable pieces of equipment, actually, and then the other is educating your staff as a printing company. I'll speak on behalf of our company. It's educating the staff on what the capabilities are, because they had no idea. They stand there and just push buttons and say, okay, it's white paper and the color looks good, or the photography, but you mix in magnets and static clings and black paper and white ink and silver ink, and all of a sudden it's, holy cow, I had no idea that we could do all this. Then from there you carry that on to finishing equipment, and then next thing you know, you're just creating some unbelievable pieces. And through that, you're also educating the the marketing service providers on the other end, saying, I had no idea that I could do that, from customization and personalization, when these presses can go up to an 18-point board, so you can do some very cool, unique packaging. I get really wound up and excited around this. That's where my creativity comes through. And
I saw it earlier today. We were talking.
Yeah,
your
thanks.
piece was fabulous. Did you get to see his piece?
I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
Just talking to him earlier, though, it shines through.
Well, I loved it, because you were going through each page, and I mean, you had the specs, you had like how you did it, the process and stuff
so
like that.
I select the images based on the substrate, based on the talking point of how it could correlate and relate back to a brand. Will that piece garner us new business? Possibly not, but it'll get us in the door that we are the thought leader, saying, wow, these guys are really looking at technology, they're ahead of the game, they're forward thinkers, all of that, versus, again, just here's some cheap color copies, can I get a quote? That's not the sandbox we like to play in.
Now, and you bring up a good point, because that's been my favorite thing and my passion, having the printing and the marketing. But I love going in and working with the teams of the printers, because they say you can't teach old dog new tricks. I don't believe that. Like, I got to work with so many sales reps across the U.S., and I would go in, and they were excited when we got to go to the table and talk to the people where the ideas come from, and they were like showing pieces like you had, showing them to them, like, oh, we could do this. And so it's a different conversation. It no longer became about the specs. It was really about what was the outcome, and being part of that. So, let's talk about the creative journey, like what you guys do and what you guys do on the creative side, and where you've been in your experience and what you've learned.
Absolutely. When I came in, I was trying to learn a lot from my father-in-law, who was very big into, let's tell them what kind of presses we have, and let's tell them what they can do. And it's like, you're going to just put them to sleep. Like
run speeds.
They don't care. And and then we went into the old-fashioned way of selling of, let's discuss the actual product, the brochure, whatever. And as a company, we started talking, and I started asking, no one, print is a commodity. I know that's somewhat of an unpopular opinion, but I believe it has been commoditized by CEOs of companies that like to put it in the same basket as, the widget that they need to get down as low as they can. But what we have found is our selling cycle, we can go in and we can talk, especially since our customers aren't as well versed on, they don't have a major marketing team. So we get to go in and we can start talking to them about their brand, about their colors, about, hey, it's not just the blue and red that's in your logo. It's there's actual numbers that go to those, and you start talking about consistency across all kinds of print medias, not only paper but embroidery and pens and whatever it may be, and let them know, hey, we don't handle all of those as far as in-house, but we understand the print process, and we will make certain that our people
Can help you manage that and
can help you
walk
and we'll
you
go through
through
all
it,
that.
The
et cetera.
Absolutely.
the methodology or
Yeah.
methodology, sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically for you, it was kind of becoming that marketing arm for many companies that they didn't have
Absolutely.
that. So they needed their handheld, a
They
little bit
needed
of
their
guidance.
handheld a little bit more.
Right?
It's some of those they realize that print is a real business, and that, you know, it's not just ink on paper. There's an art to it. There's an understanding about it, and you know, we've been able to go in and show them that. And you know, we don't work with just small companies. We work with the marketing arms of some larger companies too around. But our area is a little more rural, so we you know, we don't have a ton of major companies around us. So we kind of had to be a little innovative and a little different in what we were doing.
And as we were saying earlier, we purchased an agency 9.5 years ago, and we gave it a good try, but as of recently, we shut it all down.
Talk to us about that. Like, what happened?
It's, again, in our market space, there's lots of huge agencies. So a lot of them also felt threatened, so we had to delicately be careful in the marketing literature and or our websites or our social of, you know, touting, look at this piece we did for Nike or anybody that, you know, they're like, wait a minute, now they're cutting into our turf. So it really got to be quite dicey, and yes, there's small, low-lying fruit. I agree with what you're saying. Kind of been there, done that, but you know, when you're supporting creative talent, and we had a staff of 18, that's a lot of money. And if the business is not there, it's actually draining from the print side. You know, so of the revenue that we do from our commercial print side, which is very strong and quite large, it was actually pulling down on our bottom line, and we just said, okay, time's up. We got to lick our wounds and move on. COVID didn't help, obviously. So now we're actually looking at reinventing ourselves, still along a creative agency side, but more focused to what I called sticking to our knitting, which was direct mail. So there's still a lot of creativity in, but it's geo-targeting, it's personalization, it's demographics. So we're looking to approach our customers in a different way creatively, but it's more on the data side of it than the physical color and imagery and all of that.
Sure. And you hit two really good points that I took from that. One is just that's where we saw a lot of printers fail, is the investment that you have to have, because you're not having those daily projects that you need that. Strategist, design, content, writer, et cetera. So, you know, I'm a big believer is partner up, right? We all have different strengths, and it takes a small army to execute things. But, you know, so, I mean, that was like one key point that you made, that it's like that was a, you know, challenge for you guys. But I don't know about you guys. I mean, obviously, we've all been in this industry a long time, but I'm still shocked. I mean, I'm trying to remember the first variable data project that I did. But I mean, and I sold equipment. That's where I started. And I mean, we've had that technology for, what, 20, 25?
Yeah,
No,
but remember
maybe 30
Direct
years.
Smile?
Yeah, and
Where you
yes.
could write your name in the clouds
No,
and the
it would take a
sugar
programmer to do anything,
yeah,
right?
oh, that was big.
But look at how many companies still aren't utilizing that and doing versioning and the personalization, and it's been here for so long. So that always amazes me. So I don't know, what percentage of your business do you, with your direct mail, I mean, and we're not talking mail merge, we're not talking about that, truly get into the power of the HPs and what they can do.
So what we did creatively is we looked at the piece of paper. The piece of paper sheet size is 2029. What can I do with that piece of paper at that size? And it's amazing what we've done. So we've created some unbelievable programs, which I can track through estimates and quotes and everything. But so by me launching the specific, I call it Mail Magic, a program that we have, I'm over $7.5 million of new business in the last 5 years. And so far this year, I'm about at $1.5 million of new business, but it all relates to kind of unique folding direct mail, but it's all back to the versioning and variability of that sheet size of paper. And so ironically, I can also transition this now and scale it even larger with the T250, which is still a 2029 sheet size. So all my dies, all my formats, all my templates all still work. Speed to market, creatives throw art on it, off we all go. It's kind of a win-win for all of us.
Sure. Well, a big question I have for both of you is just what advice would you give to other companies out there when it comes to how you handle this creative side? From the lessons you've learned, obviously you had an agency, that's, split. What are some of the advice that you have if you're going to be a printer that is going to become an MSP, or you want to be able to have that creative side? What are some
I
things
think
you'd
for
say?
me at least, and we're early in our cycle here, but I would say making certain that you have the right team around you. And that was kind of our thing. Had we gone out 10 years ago, we would have failed, and we may not be here today. But making certain that you have actual people that know what they're talking about and can go out and feel comfortable sitting in front of a customer and talking to them about the creative side.
Yeah, I would mirror that. I love
Mine,
that.
I would have to say, be a good listener. That's actually huge. You can all go in and just your brain and I do this and I. There's a lot of that, and yeah, my team, and there's more I's and all of that stuff too. But you really have to be a good listener to hear what they need or what their pain point is. I think is a real success for anybody in the creative field. So that would be my advice.
No, amen to that. We spend a lot of time. I mean, I pride ourselves in discovery, really going in and figuring out what they're trying to accomplish, because we can print some fabulous stuff, right? We can show it off all day long, but it's like, what are they trying to accomplish? What are those objectives? And making sure that we're meeting those objectives. So, okay.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
it
you
was
very much.
fun. I
Yeah.
love this.
Enjoyed
Hearing
it.
your
Yeah,
stories.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much.